I'm going to start making the poles for the doors on the cabinet. They are going to be a post and bale style construction. There's a very good article on finewoodworking.com. Do a search for James Krenov and you're going to find the article. This whole cabinet is loosely based on those drawings. And it goes into all the construction details of those post and bale poles. Some very small pieces. I do have to use some machinery to machine those parts. So be very careful. Keep the parts as long and large as possible before you start using a table saw or any other power equipment to do this. So let's get started and I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm going to start first by making the post for the piece. Here it is. You can see those marks on there. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a couple shoulders on the ends here and then some shoulders on the piece in the middle. It'll make more sense as this piece goes along. Well, I'm going to start forming the tenons on the ends of this piece. I've got my crosscut sled and I'm going to take that mark that I made and just line it up visually with the tooth of the saw blade. I'm going to take my clamp stop block and use that. I don't need a lot of pressure on it because it's a very small piece. This is a 1/4 inch square. The blade on this is raised up just a little shy of a 1/16 of an inch. It took a few trial cuts to make sure I'm on the right spot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on here. I'm going to cut around it 4 times, flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. Now that I've got the shoulders defined on the outside of this piece, I'm going to start to define the middle here. And I'm going to basically be doing the same thing. I'm just going to line it up. Put my stop block in place. Clamp it down. Make sure I'm in the right spot on both sides, which I am. And I'm going to make these shoulder cuts. Well, this is the piece that I've made so far. What I need to do is I'm just going to go back to the table saw and I'm going to remove the rest of this material from inside here and on the edges. This is the piece I'm going to make the bales that the posts are going to fit into. Now this is a 1/4 by 5/16. There's not going to be any tenons on the outsides of this. All the tenon meat is going to be on the inside here. So I just need to nibble away. I've made some marks. I'm just going to nibble away this on the inside the same way as I did before on the posts. Now that I've got both the stock cut for both the posts and the bales, I just need to cut those out on the table saw. I've raised the blade up and I'm just going to cut them on my sled. I've got the drill press set up at the stop, fenced a certain amount distance away from the piece. I'm just going to go ahead and drill these. This is a very simple operation. I've got one of the posts secured in my bench vise. And what I want to do is I want to create a 1/8 inch integral tenon on this piece that's going to go into one of the bales. This is going to take a little bit of time, but it's not going to be too bad. I just want to make sure I take my time. I do not want to break this far into the project. After about 5 minutes or so of shaping with the file, it's the fit I'm looking for. It's got a little bit of play in it, but it's not too tight. I want to make sure that I do not break this off when I'm assembling all this together. So I just need to do the other side of this post and then of course the bales also. So this is going to take me some time. Here's one of the completed, well, nearly completed door pulls. I have left these tenons here a little bit long, and what I want to do is I just want to mark these where they meet, I should say where they stand outside of the bales. I'm going to cut those off, round those a little bit, and I'm going to do a little bit of carving with the chisel. I'm just going to round some of these corners, pillow some ends, and basically make them have a nice tactile feel when you touch them. Here's one of the completed poles, and I'm going to get it glued up. I don't want a whole lot of glue. I just want enough to keep it in place. So I'm just going to put a real small drop here in each hole. Not much. And I'm going to insert that. Now my main concern here is that when I glue this up, it's not going to sit flat on the door frame. So I've just got a small ruler here. I'm going to eyeball that for the most part of it being level like this. So just going to put that on there, make the shoulders flat to the ruler and the bridles here flat to the table. I'm just going to hold that for a minute or so, and it should at least hold that shape when I go to attach it to the cabinet. After the glue dried on the door pulls, I went ahead and put 3 coats of shellac on them. I let that dry for a while, and then I also waxed them. Then I went ahead and drilled the holes, and that's where we are right now. I've just got some blue tape on there, just holding them in place just in case, and I'm going to let those sit overnight like that, and they should be nice and strong. What I've done here is I've clamped the top to the base, and I've also put the filler blocks in here, and these are going to be used to attach the top to the base itself. I've already pre-drilled some holes in these corner blocks, and I'm just going to go ahead and pre-drill for some screws. I'm first going to put 2 in at each corner. I'm going to go ahead and drive these 2 screws in first before I drill the rest of the holes. I've got the doors installed, the cabinet on its back, and I'm sure you can see this blue tape here. What I'm going to do is something a little bit different. When the cabinet is sitting on the floor and the doors are closed, they almost stay closed by themselves. I don't need a lot to keep them closed. So what I'm going to be doing is installing some 1/4-inch magnets in the top and on the top of the doors. I've got a piece of tape here because it's easier to mark out and see on this wood, and I don't want to mark over the finish. And what I've done is I've put a couple marks here and come up off of this piece 3/8 of an inch up. I've done the same thing on the doors. I've marked over and up from the bottom 3/8 of an inch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 1/4-inch Forstner bit, and I'm just going to be drilling a couple holes right into here that are going to be about 1/16 of an inch deep. I'm actually going to drill the holes on the doors first, and again, I've got my mark where the magnets are going to go, and I just want to go 1/16 of an inch deep. This is one of the little magnets on the end of the screwdriver. I'm just going to put it on there, make sure it's flush. You go a little bit deeper. So here's the hole drilled in the top of the door. I've got one of the magnets on a screwdriver here, and that's going to fall out if I let it go. But it's perfectly flush with the top of this door. Again, the corresponding one is going to be in the top of the cabinet, and I think I truly believe that the magnetic force just going across the 32nd of an inch gap that's between the door and the top of the cabinet is going to be more than enough to keep the door closed and in place. The case flipped upside down. I drilled these two holes that are here, and I'm just going to take some 5-minute epoxy and I'm going to get some down in these holes. Not a whole heck of a lot, just enough to hold the magnet in place. Don't want a lot of squeeze out. Those in place. I've also sanded the bottoms of these on the opposite sides to make sure that when I put these in there, I'm putting them in the right way for the polarity of the magnets. And then I'll do the doors. Well, here's the finished piece, and I couldn't be happier with the way this piece came out. I really like the way the grain flows through the door rails, the book match panels, and the pattern of the walnut in the panels, the door pulls. All in all, it was a very pleasurable piece to build. The magnets also work very well, holding the doors in place. This piece took me some time, and it was quite a challenge, but you know, as woodworkers, we have to challenge ourselves and try new things, try different things, and we learn a lot. We also make a lot of mistakes along the way, and hopefully we learn from those mistakes, and hopefully you can learn from some of the mistakes I made that you've seen as I've gone through this piece. I hope to do another piece soon, and again, thanks for watching.